Tonight we got a little bit of heavy hearts because we lost one of our family members yesterday. And we just wanted to find a moment in our show to recognize him. Nick's little brother, Aaron Carter, passed away yesterday at 43 years old. And he's a part of our family. And we thank you guys for all the love, all your well wishes, and all your support. And we want to take the time on this next song. We want to go ahead, Howard.
So like Kevin said, we'd like to dedicate this next song to our little brother, Aaron Carter. You never be missed, brother. May you rest in Fear keeps slipping right through my head. Days all feel the same. Still not from you. First step of this plane I suffocate without you. Heart beats for two, yeah. It was good. Looking back, if this paradise is somebody take me back, and it hurts. Looking.
One day you're playing kick the can with kids named Flick and Schwartz.
I triple dog dare you!
And the next thing you know, you're a certified adult.
Ralph, dear old man.
Fragile.
He was the best.
Ralphie, promise me we're gonna make this a wonderful Christmas. That would make your father so happy.
I promise. What had I done? And now it was all up to me?
I suggest you start drinking and don't stop till New Year's.
Hey kids, who wants to go see Santa?
This is amazing! Incredible!
We will meet you right here when you're done.
Don't let him kick you in the face.
Huh?
It's the happy season.
Now in.
When it's just us decorating, it kind of feels like child labor.
Honey, it's not labor if we don't pay you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
There'll be much mistletoe.
My dad made this all look so easy.
That doesn't mean it was easy.
Most wonderful time of the year.
Schwartz, I triple dog dare you!
Oh, I got it now.
That's brutal.
It's the most wonderful time.
Slow Slowly, I could feel the Christmas ember beginning to glow again.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining me for Monday Mayhem here on Conversations with Taz. Whew. Boy, oh boy, do we do. Ooh. There's so much to go over today. And of course, I'm going to try to go over some last minute election things with you. And in the link tree in my bio, all of my bios, whether you're watching this here with me on YouTube, on LinkedIn, or on Facebook. Tomorrow I'm going to be popping around doing different lives discussing Election Day. Also, if you're watching through LinkedIn, my apologies. I cannot see any comments that you may put in, so sorry. But if you recall, last night we discovered racism going wild at the University of Kentucky, and we have some updates of sorts. So let's get into those. There's a handful, and I'll see you in 2 and 2. We'll discuss these articles and we'll get into it.
Hey y'all, it's State Representative Attica Scott. Have you seen the news? A viral video has shown a white University of Kentucky student attacking a black University of Kentucky student using racial slurs. Not only did this white student verbally assault the black student using the N-word and other racial slurs, but she also physically assaulted the student and responding officers. She was straight up biting people, y'all. Biting the black student, biting responding officers. And y'all, this is all on video. You can go to the National Black Guide Instagram page or other social media pages of other folks who have posted the video. And the black student told her own story on her TikTok page. So you can go there to hear what happened in her own words. The University of Kentucky issued a statement on Twitter. The student who did the assaulting was arrested and the investigation is ongoing. Every generation in Kentucky is reminded that racism is not dead here. If you are a white person who is committed to dismantling racism, then you need to connect with groups like Showing Up for Racial Justice. Get involved today because it's on you to address these issues. As the investigation progresses, let's make sure we all pay close attention because we know how these things go. Make sure that you wrap your arms around the student who was assaulted, but also around the students who were traumatized by the incident because they were in proximity to it. We have to make sure that we show up for racial justice and that we act as if Black Lives Matter.
Hey y'all, so I have some updates about what's been happening at UK. As you can see here, right before she entered the dorm, she was at a bar and she was doing the same exact thing to the people in the bar that she did to this young lady. She has also been arrested and I believe she is still in jail at this time. I know she was in jail earlier today. And these are also her charges. She was named as Jane Doe because at the time of her arrest, she would not comply with the officers and she wouldn't give them her information because at the time she had no ID or anything on her. And as a result of this happening to this young lady, we are having a protest tomorrow on the campus of University of Kentucky at 6 p.m. So if any students that are wanting to go, make sure you stop by and give your support to this young lady.
Because guess what? I'm rich as fuck and you're obviously not compared to what you're wearing, and I can see you and you can't do shit about it, especially because you don't know my fucking last name, but I know goddamn well who you are.
A white female student from Kentucky University has been arrested after a racial attack on 3 black students. 22-year-old Sophia Rosing was arrested just before 4 a.m. on Sunday morning for public intoxication, assault and disorderly conduct charges. It comes after a truly shocking video shows her yelling racial slurs at fellow student Kyla Springs, who was working on the front desk of her dormitory before she tried to strike her. It's reported Kyla didn't recognize her as a student, so was initially reluctant to let her in. When she entered the building and approached the elevators, Spring noticed she was highly intoxicated and, as part of her job, just lent her head out of the booth to ask if she was okay, to which Sophia allegedly started hurling racial slurs at her before trying to fight her.
Yeah. Home video. Me too. I got
It's reported she continually tried to assault Sprigg, who tried to disarm her and told her to stop, to which she replied no, before barking repeated and obscene racial slurs. Rosing also allegedly kicked her in the stomach, tried to run her over with a shopping cart, and actually bit her friend. Another video shows her being sat down in a chair in an alleged attempt to try and calm her down, before she actually punches a second victim who is also black and then tries to kick Spring again. It ultimately ended with a police officer handcuffing her while she is still continuing racial slurs and struggling to stand. Amid the controversy, another bit of footage has emerged with her berating another man and actually bragging about how rich she is.
It doesn't work in Boulder because guess what? I'm rich as and you're obviously not compared to what you're wearing, and I can see you, and you can't do about it, especially because you don't know my last name, but I know goddamn well who you are.
The university has released a statement acknowledging the video and saying they will conduct an immediate and thorough review. The vile language and behavior has landed her at the Fayette County Detention Center on a $10,000 bail.
Excuse me. Now, as we discussed yesterday, she has been released. She was released the same day. She pled not guilty to alcohol intoxication in a public place, 3rd-degree assault on a police officer, 4th-degree assault, and 2nd-degree disorderly conduct. Remember yesterday, in the screenshots that I was able to grab, it was stated, still not confirmed, that she was thrown out of her sorority because of an incident in Colorado. And coming from ConanDaily.com, evidently on August 4th, 2021, Barstool U took to Twitter to share a video of her criticizing someone not shown in the video. This seems to be a pattern. And also yesterday, I showed you a video where someone who works with her through student employment at the University of Kentucky stated that they have made several complaints about her because she's had racially motivated remarks towards them and trying to push them into that stereotypical angry black woman trope so that she can be like, see, I was correct. And yeah, that's Northern Kentucky racism for you. And coming from Lex18.com, UK student facing criminal charges for drunken racial tirade bonded out of jail. Sophia Rosing was bonded out of jail around 6 p.m. Monday night. Her parents were present and covered her face as she left. Also, she has locked down all of her social media. She has deleted all of her posts off of Instagram, and I know that's got to be killing her. I don't know if y'all can see this. Hold on. I'll take a screen. I'll show it to y'all in just a second. But she walked out of jail with a piece of paper covering her face. A woman is arrested. I'm glad they said that, not a kid. Excuse me. A woman is arrested and facing criminal charges after an online video shows her calling a UK student racial slurs while verbally and physically assaulting her. And she was purposefully not trying to give her name because, like I pointed out to you all yesterday when I showed you the official police report, they had her birth date. So she was giving all information but her birth date, forgetting, sweetheart, Elon might have Twitter in a chokehold, but the one thing you'll never have in a chokehold is black anything. Not black Twitter, not black talk, not the black side of Facebook. We will find you. Because what you will not do is disrespect one of ours. It's not about to happen. But I believe there's one more article. But hold on. UK student caught on video berating another student with racial slurs is out of jail. Lex 18 investigates was there as Sophia Rosing walked out of jail. But I thought she liked camera time. I guess just not that camera time. I mean, she's made it to the New York Post. She's made it. And coming from, this one comes from The Insider. A University of Kentucky student seen in a viral video hurling racial slurs told police she has lots of money and gets special treatment. Y'all still want to tell us that white privilege doesn't exist and that y'all don't know that it exists? That y'all don't have any privilege? See, your new generation is just there screaming the quiet part out loud. And the fact that she says she gets special treatment means this is this is a history of behavior. This is nothing new. This is a history of behavior. Tell me again about whose kids are accustomed to getting participation trophies. But let's just take the highlights from this article. A University of Kentucky student seen in a viral video hurling racial slurs at black students was arrested. Sophia Rosing, 22, told police that she has lots of money and gets special treatment, an arrest report says. Rosing was arrested on charges including 4th-degree assault and 3rd-degree assault on a police officer. When the arresting officer took Rosing to sit back in a chair, she kicked him and bit his hand, the report says. The police report does not identify the arrestee as Rosing, but a school spokeswoman confirmed the person is Rosing. Records show that Rosing was booked into the Fayette County Detention Center. Her bond was set at $10,000. As of Monday morning, she remained in custody. University of Kentucky spokeswoman Whitney Siddiqui told Insider on Monday that a review of Rosing's conduct is underway as backlash grows against the students. What review is needed? Review the footage, all of the footage from that night, because it has hit the internet hard. And make a decision on Lil Miss special treatment. It's that simple. Bada bing, bada boom. What more do you need? Oh, do you need to check the boosters roster to make sure her family isn't in the top tier? Because her father is an executive at Messer. Is that what you're waiting on? Are you ensuring that you're not awaiting a library in their name? We know how that goes. But just to lighten the mood a little bit, I saw someone on TikTok ask this question. Do black people ever work in tanning salons? Ironically enough, I found the answer. Here we go.
How did you know you weren't going to get the job in your interview? I applied for a job at a tanning salon. The manager called me to ask, do you tan often? I said, no, I'm black. She hung up immediately.
What? She said, you have no business being here. Don't waste my time or my energy.
Take your pigment and get a different job.
Get the fuck out of here. Hung up immediately.
Take your melanin and look somewhere else. And he pastes in fake colors.
That's all I need.
That's all I need.
That's what I need to attract.
Yeah.
You are what you eat.
Yeah.
That's what I need to attract. Wow.
Bro.
That's hilarious.
Gotta have a little levity in between here. Coming from the Associated Press, Jackson, in dissent, issues first Supreme Court opinion. New Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson issued her first Supreme Court opinion Monday, a short dissent in support of a death row inmate from Ohio. Jackson wrote that she would have thrown out lower court rulings in the case of Ohio inmate Deval Chen, whose lawyers argued that the state suppressed evidence that might have altered the outcome of his trial. The 2-page opinion came on the same day the High Court was hearing cases that are part of a wider dispute over the power of the federal government. In her dissent, Jackson wrote that she would have ordered a new look at Chen's case because his life is on the line, and given the substantial likelihood that the suppressed records would have changed the outcome at trial. The evidence at issue indicated that a key witness against Chen had an intellectual disability that might have affected his memory and ability to testify accurately, she wrote. Excuse me. Prosecutors are required to turn over potentially exculpatory evidence to the defense. In this case, lower courts determined that the outcome would not have been affected if the witnesses' records had been provided to Chen's lawyers. Chen's lawyers said in a statement after his case was rejected that Ohio must not exacerbate the mistakes of the past by pursuing Mr. Chen's execution. The only other member of the court to join Jackson's opinion was fellow liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor. Jackson joined the High Court on June 30th following the retirement of Justice Steve Breyer. The court has yet to decide any of the cases argued in October or the first few days of the month. Jackson almost certainly will be writing a majority opinion in one of these cases. Every justice typically writes at least one opinion each time the court sits for a 2-week session of hearing arguments. So she is in there doing the work that we all knew that she was going to be able to do. Being just, being equal, and interpreting the Constitution very well as the laws to be fair and just to everyone. And I love how she said, because this man's life is on the line, we should always look at all parts of the evidence and not just let one side pick and choose what is determinative. Now, you know, tomorrow's election day, and Trump has been in his fields, and we're not certain if he's going to announce that he's going to run for president in 2024, since DeSantis is already chipping away, because Trump called him DeSanctimonious, and a lot of people didn't like that. And there's some differing opinions as to why some conservatives didn't like it. But let's take a look at these 2 very quick videos, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
Watching conservative leaders call out the character of Donald Trump because of the way he spoke about Ron DeSantis shouldn't make you think that they finally see the flaws with Donald Trump. It should make you realize how dangerous Ron DeSantis is.
This is a work of art. This is a work of art.
Now, there are a couple things to unpack here. Number one, should Trump announce that he is running tonight, the RNC, the Republican National Convention, already said that they would withdraw paying for any of his legal fees going forward. But running, and the off chance that he does win, that does give him some legal protection. Minor during this time, major should he win, depending on how quickly New York, the Department of Justice, Georgia moves on these cases. Let's not forget, by the 14th of this month, Trump has to appear before the January 6th committee. So this might be a tactical thing for him, which I'm fairly certain he ignored the advice of all counsel. Also, there are a lot of people in the Trump camp that do not like or have any respect for DeSantis. There are former members of the DeSantis camp that have jumped ship to go over to the Trump camp. And DeSantis is far scarier and far worse than Trump because he can kind of hide his ego. He's not as boisterous. He does listen, and he tweaks Trump's ideas that the sycophants seem to enjoy so much, and he actually implements them. He gives them their dog and pony show. Like today on Twitter, he put out a tweet bragging about all of these asylum seekers that he's taken his state taxpayers' money to bus out. He hasn't fixed the grid. He hasn't tightened gun control laws to protect children. He's still trying to ban books. He's not doing anything for the actual residents of the state that he's in. He's literally playing to the bigger picture of chipping away at being at the top of the ultra MAGA conservative Republican, now semi-Christian nationalist GOP. He wants to be Trump, but better. And because Trump keeps promising these things, because Trump understands the history, or kinda, maybe, of talking points and how well talking points have done for the GOP, to give them something to hope for, give them something to look for. So every time their constituents go to the polls, they're voting for a step closer to that dream coming true. DeSantis is like, let's knock these out and give them some more dreams. And to give them more dreams, that's bigger government. That's less freedom. That's more fascism. Now, we've talked about the crazed layoffs but please come back that Twitter is doing. But what you all are missing, Facebook has some layoffs coming up. Let's take a look.
You guys, there is a new trend in the tech industry, running your platform to the fucking ground, losing a shitload of money, and then having to lay off a bunch of workers. Meta is laying off thousands of employees next week. Thousands. The same Meta that was stealing your personal health information and selling it.
The same Meta, aka Facebook, that was also targeting you for ads and allowing people to purchase up space to perpetuate disinformation and misinformation. And regarding that, let me add this little snippet in here to put a little bug in your ear. The GOP has an intricate game plan. Yes, I know they are trying to scare their base into the polls for the midterms. They have rallied against early voting, but then pushed people to early vote. They've got people watching drop boxes and polling places that are armed and with cameras to get license plate numbers and all of this voter suppression and voter intimidation. But here's something that they also have going on that not too many people are talking about. And that's they have dumped a lot of money into school board elections and minor local elections. They're trying to build up their political base from the ground up. They are literally turning their fascism into a grassroots movement. People have come out of nowhere to win school board presidencies, to win seats on school boards, to win, aldermen and assemblymen positions. You may think, oh, that's not a big deal. Yes, it is, because if you can control the local, especially the education, how do you think they're going to turn out? Because if you start them off indoctrinated into conservatism, how likely are they going to go off to a liberal college? And if they do, we see the kids that are so ingrained and so indoctrinated that all they do is cause ruckus on liberal campuses. So you do have to keep that in mind. When I keep saying the local elections matter also, I mean all of them. Your school boards, your aldermen, your assemblymen, your mayors, your council people, everything that you could possibly vote on. Because right now, that is the niche that the GOP is swinging into. And then these are the people that pop out of nowhere that are now the mayor of the city, that are now in the next gubernatorial race, that are now in the next Senate race, or now in the next House race. And you have all these people, oh yeah, they did a great job, because they're doing the work of keeping people dumb, keeping the 1% where the 1% is. And also tonight, we've got Dr. Oz and Mr. Fetterman, well, Lieutenant Governor Fetterman, going head to head. And Trump is not with him. Trump is right across the bridge from him in Ohio, campaigning for J.D. Vance. And it's not because he likes J.D. Vance more. Where Dr. Oz is running, Trump is not welcome there. It's more moderate. It's more upscale. It's educated. Where it once upon a time was fluttered in red. Last few elections, it's been blue. Trump would be a kiss of death. That's why Dr. Oz has sprinkled himself around and had people at different rallies for him that have already distanced themselves from Trump or were never associated with Trump. See, the closer we get to election day, you see where people actually stand. Oh yeah, and Miss Carrie Lake, we didn't forget in 2016 that you were fervently anti-Trump until you saw the hold that he has and the power you could get off of his back. But we'll see how that goes tonight. And also, let's keep in mind that within the GOP, the girls are fighting. They're calling themselves, they've split themselves between just regular conservatives, rhinos, and then the MAGA Republicans. I even took a peek on Truth Social earlier, and they're talking about and pushing forth campaigns to vote out Republicans. And I don't think they realize who that Republican will be replaced by. But I'm not gonna tell. I'll tell them Wednesday morning. We'll tell them Wednesday morning. We'll wait till Wednesday morning and we'll tell them. We'll tell them then. We're not gonna tell them now. And in the Fetterman Oz race, Fetterman and a few other Democrats are petitioning a federal judge, excuse me, regarding the ability to count ballots that have been misdated or handwritten dates are missing or incorrect. The reason why they're doing this is because it involves 46,000 ballots. And my thing is, you're saying that they're misdated, but if I get a mail-in ballot on the 2nd and I fill it out on the 2nd and I mail it on the 2nd, why are you looking for the date of the 8th? Yeah, and OAN.com, One American News Network, yes, uber right wing, they're all over Truth Social, is also speculating that plausibly tonight, because it is the official headline is Trump rumored to announce 2024 presidential bid Monday night. The midterms are right around the corner, and former President Trump is rumored to announce his 2024 presidential bid on Monday night while at a rally in Ohio. The speculation comes after comments Trump made while at a rally in Miami, Florida on Sunday night for Marco Rubio. Side note, it's really funny because Marco Rubio now is saying basically all of the hullabaloo that's going on in politics right now needs to stop. And he knows that even though he's a Republican, what the Republicans are doing is wrong. I think somebody knows they're not going to win. And they may need to take a nap, resurrect, and come back as anything but a conservative Republican. Many supporters of President Trump think he should announce his campaign for re-election while in Dayton, Ohio. Congressman Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida, supports the president announcing his campaign the night before midterms. I bet you do, Matt Gaetz, because you're going to need a presidential pardon. Yeah. Yeah, Dateline seems to be coming for you. Like, yeah, you could have a 2-hour special of To Catch a Predator. Yeah. But like I said, keep in mind, the RNC already said the moment that he announces, they're sucking those funds out. Because right now, the RNC's safer bet, I hate to say it, is DeSantis. And there's no way they can put them on a ticket together. There's too much ego. There's too much everything. That's like trying to have two Hitlers run together. But in more politics news, we always hear about the border crisis, but the border crisis only has to do with the southern border, not the northern border. And they say it's an immigration crisis, but they specifically call it a border crisis. Nobody thinks about the illegal immigrants, well, undocumented immigrants that come over on boats. And I'm not talking about boats that they had to make. I should say ships that come over on cruise ships and never leave, that come over with visas that they allow to lapse and never get done, that come over on planes and are just chilling here. nobody was turning away those Ukrainian refugees. But let's discuss facts regarding our southern border. Here we go.
So Marjorie Taylor Greene has spent an inordinate amount of time trying to tell us that there is a link between what she calls open borders by this administration and fentanyl use. You may be shocked by hearing this, but she's lying to you. Here's some data and examples that might clear things up. Take, for example, this story where Border Patrol seized $500,000 worth of fentanyl from a car at the border crossing that was being driven by a 23-year-old United States citizen. Or this other story of a bus that recovered over $4 million worth of fentanyl from 2 United States citizens. Now, in spite of what Marjorie Taylor Greene may have you believe, the reality is that the vast majority of fentanyl traffickers in the United States are in fact United States citizens. In fact, according to a report by the United States Sentencing Commission, in 2021, 86.3% of all drug traffickers that were sentenced for trafficking fentanyl were in fact United States citizens. Now, the other thing Madge wants you to believe is that all of this fentanyl is being introduced into the United States through illegal entry into the United States. Well, according to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection statistics, 90% of all fentanyl seized has been seized at legal ports of entry in the United States and not at illegal crossing posts. So in spite of anything that Marjorie Taylor Greene wants you to believe, the reality is that fentanyl crisis in the United States is not a product of immigration, illegal immigration, or what she calls open border policy. Unsurprisingly, and once again, we're discovering that Marjorie Taylor Greene is spewing absolutely unfounded claims. Unfortunately, in this case, these are claims that are contributing to further hurting an already marginalized segment of the United States communities. But Marge, we wouldn't expect anything less from you.
And also, just so you all are aware, the minority leader of the House, who, if the Republicans are able to take the House, is already preparing for that possibility, has stated that he may put Marjorie Taylor Greene on certain committees. But as that was playing, this came up.
District, the Democrat just pulled one of his ads. The spot showed a house belonging to his opponent, Republican Pat Harrigan. Last month, a bullet was fired through a window of a different home belonging to Harrigan's parents. No one was injured, thankfully. Police have not commented on a possible motive. Pat Harrigan is a Special Forces veteran, and he joins us now. First off, sir, thank you so much for your service and the sacrifice.
So in case you didn't hear that, gunshots. Once at a congressional candidate's home and then once at his parents' home. And before y'all go off with, why didn't they have better security? Why didn't... Stop acting as if as much of a ghetto-ass cesspool the United States is. It is not like many other nations where people within politics have had to look over their back and have bulletproof vests on. That's not how it is. Stop victim blaming and look at the people who are behind it and start pointing the finger at them so this stuff can stop. Also tonight with Anderson Cooper, Nancy Pelosi had an interview regarding her future in politics, what she's considering, whether she's going to retire or not, and the attack on her husband, Paul Pelosi. There's an article to go along with this, but let me give you just a few of my little notes from watching the interview. She says that she's a target due to being effective. She takes pride in her position and ability to serve people. She's hoping that the GOP will accept tomorrow's election results and not repeat 2020. And she discussed the legislation that the GOP has been trying to present that is geared towards basically allowing them to steal future elections. Now, coming from the Hill, Pelosi says retirement decision will be affected by attack on husband. Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat of California, in a new interview said the attack on her husband, Paul Pelosi, will affect the decision she makes of whether to retire from Congress should Democrats lose control of the House in Tuesday's midterm elections. I have to say my decision will be affected about what happened the last week or two, Pelosi told CNN's Anderson Cooper in her first sit-down interview since the attack on her husband. Paul Pelosi was hit on the head twice. Her home has a surveillance feed to police. There was no one monitoring it. There have been a bunch of different stories as to why nobody was monitoring it, whatever. I'm going to say it. Paul Pelosi was hit twice on his head. Very, very, very fortunate man that the skull fragments did not pierce his brain. But police admitted that after the 911 call and the dispatcher sharing, hey, I know what he said, I feel like this is what's going on, they pull up. They admit they can see two people in there going back. You know whose house it is. Paul Pelosi should have never been hit. That perimeter should have been breached beforehand. Because I'm sure if the attacker was my complexion, Paul Pelosi would have never been hit. But before we go any further, let's get into this season's ad.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
Welcome to Paris, Joseph.
Monsieur, I fear this will not be a kind place to such a boy.
The boy has talent, but one in particular that is exceptional.
Very well.
I realized the more I excelled, the less I was alone.
Were you always so competitive?
The show-off who spoiled Mozart's concert.
May I play with you, monsieur?
Well, I hope this won't be embarrassing for you. Who the hell is that?
You are quite a remarkable man, Joseph. I, Marie Antoinette, Queen of France, hereby anoint you Chevalier.
In any other country, a man of your color would not be wearing such fine clothes.
One day, the whole world will know me.
And of course, the music will be spectacular. Bold.
You don't belong here. You're a party trick. You're a pet, playing the violin, that is all.
You know I am the best.
You are playing a dangerous game, friend.
You forget your place, boy. Break his hands.
This world is painful for us, my son. But there is always the choice to fight.
I'm putting on a concert. Let us fund the revolution.
We cannot afford to make any more enemies.
France is changing.
You could be more influential than you know. Leverage it.
If you take to the stage, you will be erased. There will be no new France. You cannot topple what has been ordained by God.
Not everything is about you people.
Okay, let's keep moving right along. Coming from the Hill, excuse me and this cough. Tyson Foods CFO arrested, allegedly fell asleep in wrong home. Tyson Foods Chief Financial Officer John R. Tyson was arrested early Sunday morning after allegedly becoming intoxicated and falling asleep in the wrong home. How did he get in? How are these white people just wandering into other people's homes? Are y'all not locking y'all doors? Y'all know it's 2022, not 1922. Let's keep going. According to a preliminary arrest report, Tyson, 32, was found asleep around 2 a.m. in a woman's bed at her home in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Tyson's headquarters is located about 10 miles away in Springdale. The woman called police when she found Tyson, whom she said she did not know. She told dispatchers that she believes the front door was left unlocked. I knew it. And that is how he entered. Where was she at when the door was unlocked that he walked through and made it to her bedroom? When police arrived, they said they located Tyson in the back bedroom with his clothes in front of the bed. Officers identified him using his driver's license. He walked through your front door to a back bedroom. So that means he went from the front to the back, from the rooter to the tutor. And no, where were you at, Sweet Pea? Where were you at? Where were you at? Police said they tried to wake Tyson up and speak with him, but he could not respond. After briefly sitting up, Tyson laid back down and tried to go to sleep, according to the police report. So y'all were just going to wake him up and send him home. How many times has he done this? Y'all were just going to wake him up and send him home. The report stated officers found an odor of alcohol on his breath and body. And if he took his clothes off, how drunk was he? And his movements appeared sluggish and uncoordinated. Well, that part, he was asleep. Tyson was arrested on charges of criminal trespassing and public intoxication. He was booked into the Washington County Detention Center, was released Sunday evening. John R. Tyson, son of board chairman John H. Tyson, was appointed to the CFO position at Tyson Foods on October 2nd. He also serves as the company's executive vice president. A spokesman for the company said in a statement, "We are aware of the incident, and as this is a personal matter, we have no additional comment." You know what? It sounds like he didn't ever want to work for the company. See, this is the dark side of nepotism. These kids trying to do, well, he's a grown man now, but they're trying to just fulfill these shoes and don't really want to do it. So they find comfort in barbiturates and drink. Not an excuse, just calling it how it should. And coming from BET.com, because this is the gift that nobody wanted, but it just keeps on giving. Kanye West can buy White Lives Matter rights for $1 billion. Civic Cypher radio show hosts Ramez Ja and Quentin Ward acquired the rights to White Lives Matter back in October. It was actually 2021, but they said 2022 here. If rapper Kanye West, who now goes by Ye, is interested in securing the rights to White Lives Matter, it's going to cost him $1 billion, according to one of the owners of the phrase. While the phrase is not for sale, Civic Cypher radio show hosts Ramez Ja and Quentin Ward acquired the rights to the White Lives Matter back in October and shared with TMZ that a 10-figure offer would have to come in for them to even consider selling the phrase. Ja said the multi-talented creative has not contacted him about the trademark rights. In case you missed it, the 45-year-old is no longer a billionaire after losing partnerships over his anti-Semitic comments, but has since apologized for his controversial rhetoric. Was it an apology, though? Was it? It was an apology. It was a faux apology. It wasn't an apology. It wasn't. Nice try, though. Oh yeah, the descendants of FDR and Eleanor have a bit to say. Let's check it out.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim Roosevelt. I'm the grandson of Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt, and it's great to have the chance to talk with you today.
Hi, I'm Maura Roosevelt. I'm the great-granddaughter of Franklin and Eleanor.
I believe, and I think most Americans believe, that Social Security was the single greatest achievement of my grandfather, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and his New Deal. In this election, Social Security and Medicare are at risk because it's clear the Republicans have said they want to make it insecure or maybe immediately phase it out.
So one thing that was really exciting for me was to see the video of President Obama defending Social Security. Dad, did you see that video?
I've seen it once, but I'd really like to watch it with you, Maura.
He's called Social Security a Ponzi scheme. Said that it's candy that the left is giving away. Some of you here are on Social Security. Some of your parents are on Social Security. Some of your grandparents are on Social Security. You know why they have Social Security? Because they worked for it. They worked hard jobs for it. They have chapped hands for it. They had long hours and sore backs and bad knees to get that Social Security. And if Ron Johnson does not understand that, if he understands giving tax breaks for private planes more than he understands making sure that seniors who've worked all their lives are able to retire with dignity and respect, he's not the person who's thinking about you and knows you and sees you, and he should not be your senator from Wisconsin.
So I think it's amazing that within hours, millions of people in my generation were able to see that through social media.
Such a powerful message from President Obama. And it doesn't apply to just one Senate race or just one House race. He may have been talking about Senator Ron Johnson there, but what he was saying equally applies to Senator Rick Scott in Florida, leading the Republican Senate Campaign Committee. It applies to the plans that have already been announced by Kevin McCarthy if he becomes Speaker of the House.
The vulnerability of Social Security has certainly become more of a reality in the repeal of Roe versus Wade. The fact that we thought that it would always be a protection for us and it turned out to not be, this should really be a wake-up call that we need to get out there and vote to protect Social Security for our future.
Every 2 years and every 4 years, we hear this is the most important election ever. Well, guess what? With democracy on the ballot in this year's midterm elections, with Social Security and Medicare on the ballot, this is different from any election in my adult life.
Tuesday, November 8th. Get out there.
Protect my grandfather FDR's legacy. Go vote.
Do not do what you did with Roe. Do not do what you did when it came time for Trump to be elected. Stop going, oh, well, they have such a big enough lead, or, oh, my vote doesn't count, or, oh, they would never. Yes, they will. They will. And they're banking on you believing disinformation and misinformation and conspiracy theories and believing that your voice doesn't matter when it absolutely does. Because if it didn't, they wouldn't be working triple time, quadruple time to suppress your vote. Now, I know a lot of you have heard about the upcoming movie regarding Harvey Weinstein, and everybody's still abuzz about Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and everything else. But have you forgotten about the Kevin Spaceys? And have you forgot about Danny Masterson? Because he's on trial. Let's take a look at this update.
If you haven't already heard, Danny Masterson, yes, that's Danny Masterson from That 70s Show, is in trial currently, facing 3 charges of SA. There are 3 Jane Does pressing these charges, one being an ex-girlfriend, a second being a close friend at the time, and a third being an acquaintance. See this word here? It's a heavy topic in trial right now, and I typically can't say this word on here. So just hit that save button and that like button for me to help push this algorithm out. This is actress Jordan Latt. She took the stand on Thursday and gave her story as to what Jane Doe 2, a close friend of hers, confided in her back when this SA situation took place. Jordan alleges that her friend was physically shaking when she shared the details of what happened between her and Danny. She explained the 2 locations in which they happened in Danny's home. She explained that she continued to say no, and that at one point she just gave up. And that all of this occurred after she was given a date beverage, if you know what I mean. Jordan went on to say that her friend, Jane Doe 2, adamantly shut her down and made her promise that she wouldn't share the details with anybody. According to reports of the trial, Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2 are part of the Church of, where they tried to report some of these situations that occurred with Danny. Danny is a larger member of the church as well, and they got shut down, as well as intimidated by the church. And this essentially drove them on a path to not speak about these alleged situations. The US Supreme Court shut down their plea to try and keep Danny Masterson's civil case out of the public eye. Danny Masterson's attorney also pleaded with the judge to keep this topic out of the court. The judge did not approve. Anyways, I did another video on this case. Click on the playlist below.
Scientology is known for its intimidation and its sexual assault within its members. And also, I've said this so many times and people think that I'm joking. Some people cannot act. They have no talent. They're playing themselves. The characters that they're most known for, it always comes out in the wash that they are just being themselves and the camera is rolling. I hope that these young ladies receive justice. And I truly, truly hope that one day, I know Leah Remini has been doing a good work trying to expose this church along with other people at the detriment to her career. But I really hope that the Church of Scientology also comes crumbling down. Now, from one incel to another, when women and femme-presenting individuals say all men, and when we develop nervous laughs and start saying, oh, no, thank you, oh, thank you, no, thank you, and get very coy, here's a prime example of why.
You know? Does she know you? Yeah, I worked with her there for like 5-6 months. Did y'all have a relationship? No, we were talking a little bit, but it never really got serious. Okay. So I chased her a little bit just because, I don't know, women are crazy. Like, I felt like she wanted me to chase her. Do you not think chasing somebody's crazy? Well, anyways, her father called me up and he made some threats to me and to my life. Okay. And so I just want to have his name on file. What did he say to you? I think he said he's going to stab me, but he's cussing at me. He said that, or he did say that? He says, I'm going to do something to you. I swear I'd do something to you. For chasing your daughter? Yeah, but it wasn't chasing. It was going down a couple streets. That's fun to women. Women like that. A little bit of excitement. No, they don't.
Women don't like to be chased.
What about like?
If I was a father, I'd probably tell you the same thing.
What about like BDSM porn, where women like to have rape fantasies?
Well, apparently this girl doesn't.
Well, who knows? Most women do like having rape fantasies.
Okay, do you think she does?
I don't know, but
Apparently she don't. Here's my suggestion. Leave her alone.
Well, this is one song I made, and this was the final chance I was going to have.
Here's my chance. Here's my advice. It's over. Leave her alone.
Okay.
Fathers will hurt you over their daughters.
Yeah, but that's the thing. She needs to have her own free will, man. You don't understand. I'm a man myself, bro, and I have needs myself.
She's choosing her free will by telling her daddy what happened to you, and I'm telling you, stay away from her because he will hurt you probably.
She's being controlled by him.
That's fine. That's fine. That's her choice, right? Free choice, free will.
I think she should go do porn.
Okay, you need to leave.
It's legal.
You need to leave.
Well,
we're not doing anything. You need to leave.
I'm having a discussion on.
I'm having a discussion telling you to leave.
Are you threatening me with arrest?
I'm not threatening you. I'm telling you to leave.
This is a public property.
We're done. Well, you can stay if you want.
Yeah, but there's something twisted about that.
There's something twisted about the way you think.
I was going to let her make her own choice after the song.
Well, she's made her choice.
And I just don't think she had a reasonable opportunity to make a choice, because I'm going to blow up, and I'm going to be a famous DJ, and I'm going to be like...
How old is she?
Lindsay's dad. I hope you see this fucking video. You know what happens when women don't ever, come to terms with themselves? Bad shit happens. I don't know. Something, the cops want to deny me trying to get her to be straight. Something is wrong about that. I don't see why these traditional ass motherfuckers think they can speak shit whenever it's this woke, belligerent LGBT shit that has her right now.
She's not straight. Therefore, his first statement of, "we used to talk a little bit," was in his mind. How much you want to bet? Because he said that they worked together for a few months. They literally spoke to one another. Conversation. More than likely conversation that had to be had in their place of employment. And he wants to force her to be straight because it's woke to be a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, as if one day a pod fell from the sky and poof. Now we have LGBTQIA plus. That's not how that works. But yes. And I will say some of the most dangerous are the ones that buy into that, "Oh, you're too pretty. I'm too attracted to you. You can't be gay. You can't be in a relationship. You can't be bi. Can't you have friends? We should be friends. I got this gift for you. Let it." And how much you want to bet he has friends that never correct him? Either they engage in the behavior also, or they never tell him he's wrong. And there's a mama or a mother or a sister or an auntie that's telling him he's so special. That's her loss. Stop telling young boys who will become men that a woman who doesn't want them is at a loss. Because we women are taught to deal with rejection for the most part. There are outliers. But this is why we say all men. BDSM and rape fantasies. And he wants her to do porn. See, when you don't teach proper sex ed and teach boys how to have proper communication and how to foster proper relationships and deal with their emotions properly, they buy into these fantasies. And they believe that that is the way to go. And they believe that that is what we want as women. It leads to more than just dissatisfaction and discomfort with the ones we actually decide to be with. Yeah, a lot of y'all think y'all doing it right. You're not. It leads to so much more. Let's get into this Twitter update and this article. Let's go.
Boom, 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 yeah. Boom, 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 yeah. Boom, 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 yeah.
One thing Elon is going to do is Elon's going to cover his behind, just like his father, who he claims to hate so very much, but they have so many similarities. I wonder if he just hates him because of the reflection in the mirror, or the fact that his father keeps having babies with his former stepsister. Who knows? But I do know that Daddy Musk covered for horrific animal cruelty that Elon dished out, to the point where the animal did die due to an infection, because it was it had to have surgery to have some things stitched and reconstructed. I really don't know how to describe that without getting a CGV. But to go along with that, coming from the Business Insider, Jack Dorsey tweets apology and takes responsibility for mass layoffs at Twitter under Elon Musk. Here are just the key points from the article. Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey is taking responsibility for the massive layoffs under Elon Musk. On Saturday, Dorsey tweeted an apology and expressed love for the Twitter staff. Former Twitter employees are slamming the company and Musk for his chaotic first week at the helm. I hate to say it, but I don't know what y'all... I don't... This is when you buy into the hype. Elon Musk will tell you that he's about protecting free speech and all about free speech. No, he's about people feeding and fostering his ego and agreeing with him. That's it. That's it. That's it. And once again, let me say, rest in peace, Nick Carter. Take a look.
I go on my Twitter and I see people saying, you look like you have AIDS, you should go die. I don't understand how I dedicated 22 years of my life to my fans, and now they turn on me.
Do you regret ever getting involved in...
I didn't have a choice. It got bad when I was about 15 years old, because when I did MTV Cribs, the day that I had to go show off that house, my mom and my dad told me, we're getting a divorce, but you still have to go do this. I had to go show off all the stuff my whole life that was going to be taken away from me.
All the money he amassed, he was left in millions of dollars worth of debt, and he had to take to OnlyFans and other things, and basically becoming a caricature on podcasts and shows because they were exploiting his addiction and his hurt and his pain. There's an interview that he gives where he talks about how his mother tried to convince him to lie and say that Michael Jackson had harmed him. And he said that he wouldn't. She wanted a payday out of it. There is a beautiful tribute on Twitter from the game. If you have a moment, I suggest you go and check it out. It shows the heart of Aaron Carter. And oftentimes people with the biggest hearts get the least amount of love and the least amount of respect. Because people assume that you're always going to be there and you're always going to bounce back and you're always going to be resilient, and you can be the villain in their life so they can look better instead of them doing better themselves. My condolences to his brother, to his son, to his fiance. to those that truly, truly loved him and respected him. And society, you gotta do better. You like to clown people because of their appearance or because you haven't gone through what they're going through and you don't want to take the time to understand what something looks like or something feels like. I thought you all would have learned in the wake of Chadwick Boseman, in the way that you all took to disrespect that man in his final days. Stop coming on the internet and now using once again Aaron Carter and saying, oh, if get help for addiction. How about you be the help for addiction someone needs by not being that trigger that's going to push them back over the edge? It's just my final 2 cents. As always, each one teach one, each one reach one.
A quick reminder, vote. Go to iwillvote.com to find out where and how.